Welcome into this special on-the-road edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. I'm on vacation this week, enjoying some time in Phoenix before we get this football season started, but still wanted to bring you an update on your Seattle Seahawks as we begin training camp this week. We have a starting lineup projection from ESPN that's a bit surprising. We'll break it down in detail, get you their analysis coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, I want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're closing in on 69,000 subscribers. The only thing missing is you, folks. For daily Seahawks news and rumors, live shows, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more, you got to be subscribed to the channel. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. 100% free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. And, folks, with me on the road, taking time from PTO, if you just want to thank us by subscribing, that would go a long ways, my friends, and we would appreciate it if you did so. All right, let's go over the starting lineup projection from ESPN, how they see Seattle taking the field week one when they begin the season against the San Francisco 49ers. At quarterback, no surprise, Sam Darnold, your QB1. I know that we've seen Drew Lock play pretty decent in the offseason program. We also saw Jalen Milroe really emerge and come along, but he still has a ways to go. But this is not a quarterback competition. And Mike Macdonald has said many times over that it's ridiculous to insinuate that anyone other than Sam Darnold is going to be starting week one for Seattle. Barring some injury, this is Sam Darnold's job, and this is Sam Darnold's team. The running back spot. ESPN is projecting a two running back lineup for the Hawks, which includes Kenneth Walker III and Zach Charbonnet. And I think this makes sense. Here's what I'm looking at, folks, is that the starting lineup at the running back position with K9 and Zach Charbonnet, you've seen enough from both of them where it can be a RB1A and an RB1B and kind of go with who has the hot hand that day. To get the majority of the touches and the carries in this offense. And we've seen both guys be banged up, K9 more so than Zach Charbonnet. I think they're a good combination together, and I think they both should play a significant role. I think that sounds right to go with both of them within that starting lineup there. Your wide receivers for Seattle include Jaxon, Smith-Njigba, Cooper Kupp, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And what we're going to see from this receiving corps, JSN is going to be your main wide receiver one option in this offense. The passing game is going to work through Jaxon, Smith-Njigba. Cooper Kupp is going to be your secondary option, and I think for him, the main thing is, like, hey, what are other ways we can get him involved, all right? Can you get him involved as a blocker? Can you get him involved in the screen passing game and short yardage and find ways to make him work to get open there to be a complementary piece to Jaxon, Smith-Njigba? That's not a knock on Cooper Kupp, but this passing game runs through JSN. And then MVS is going to be your vertical threat. He is going to be the main go-to guy to push the ball vertically down the football field and use him to his strengths in that sense, in that regard. The tight end spot, with Noah Fant gone now, they are projecting that A.J. Barner is going to be that number one tight end, not Elijah Arroyo. Now, this is where I kind of disagree with ESPN. I think that over the coming weeks ahead in training camp and the preseason, Elijah Arroyo is going to get that spot over A.J. Barner. And the reason why, I think you want your lead tight end to be your best pass catcher, to be the guy that is going to be able to use more in the passing game. And I think that when you look at these two, they complement each other. I think A.J. Barner is a very good blocking tight end, and Arroyo is a very good receiving tight end. And I would expect more from Arroyo than from A.J. Barner. I think Barner can be a solid number two, but I think Arroyo gets that spot. So I disagree with ESPN there in that sense. Then you look at the starting offensive line. They're going Charles Cross to the left tackle spot. I'm very high on Charles Cross. We'll get you some more analysis on Charles Cross from ESPN in a moment. Then you go with the rookie, Grey Zabel, at the left guard spot, followed by Olu Olutimi at the center position. And then Anthony Bradford gets the starting spot at right guard, with Abraham Lucas as your starting right tackle. Not a ton of surprises there when it comes to the offensive line situation. Bradford beating out Haynes is fascinating. That's one that's going to play out over the coming weeks and through the preseason. Might come down to the very end. Bradford a year older than Haynes. Bradford cut down some weight. Lucas did as well, and they give him the nod to get that starting right guard spot. We'll go over the defense here in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys. How would you grade the Seahawks starting lineup? Weigh in and let us know what you think, A, B, C, D, or F. I'll give you a grade coming up in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys first. My grade, I got to go with about a B+. I think that's fair. I think that this is a solid lineup. It's a good team, not a great team, not a bad team. I think a B+ is pretty fair. And what's clearly evident, although the offense is solid, it's the defense that's going to be what carries this Seattle Seahawks team in 2025. Let's go over the defensive starters from ESPN. You have on the defensive line, Leonard Williams, who I believe is the most underrated defensive player in all of football. This is his third season in Seattle. He has been really good for this Seahawks team since he's come to town and been a perfect fit for this defense. Byron Murphy II, back for his second season. I think he's going to take a significant step up this year. And Jarran Reed, also on that defensive line as well. I mean, what an addition he was a few years ago. And what they've done to retool this defensive line, it's a solid group. Your edge rushers for the Hawks. Here's where things get a little bit interesting. They're going with Uchenna Nwosu, even though he's starting on the PUP list here in training camp, to get healthy in time and get his starting job back. I don't believe that's going to quite happen. For one, I don't know if he's going to be healthy when the season begins. But two, I don't know if he's actually going to beat out DeMarcus Lawrence and Derek Hall for that starting spot, but ESPN seems to think so. Boye Mafe on the other side of him. Boye, I mean, we've seen him be really good, and he's a well-rounded edge rusher. Not just a pass-rushing specialist, but good against the run, also good in coverage as well. I like Boye a lot. And then you go to the linebacker room. Ernest Jones IV, you got him on a new deal. I think that Ernest Jones, now that he's fully healthy, remember, he was playing with an injured knee the last couple of seasons and still played really well, provided quite a spark for this defense last year. I think we're going to see the best version of Ernest Jones we've seen his entire career this year, playing alongside Tyrese Knight, the former fourth-round pick. Tyrese Knight, I think, is looking like a steal and one of the best fourth-round picks in last year's draft. He should take another step forward. And then the secondary. They are going with Devon Witherspoon, Rick Woolen, and Shaq Griffin. They have Shaq Griffin beating out Josh Jobe for one of those starting corner spots, and I think that's the right call for Seattle to go with Shaq over Josh, although I think Josh is going to be a good fit to be a backup. And at $2 million, with the experience he has, Josh Jobe, I am more than okay with him in a backup role, and I think that adds some depth that you didn't have in that corner room before. The safeties, Julian Love and Kobe Bryant. Julian Love has played every game since he's been in Seattle. He's a former Pro Bowler. Kobe Bryant had a breakout second half of last season. He's trying to get a new contract. That'll be something to watch. Nick Emanwari, not named a starter, but I'm not concerned about that. We've heard Mike Macdonald say, hey, we're going to try to find a role for him. He's got experience playing safety, outside corner, nickelback, inside linebacker, outside linebacker. He is going to get the playing time of a starter, but maybe not be an official starting role necessarily. ESPN ranks Seattle's starting lineup 20th best in the NFL. What do you guys think? Where would you rank Seattle's starting lineup? ESPN has them 20th. Want to hear from you guys. We're going to get more analysis from ESPN in a moment, but want you guys to weigh in. Rank the Seahawks starting lineup. Let me know. All right, let's break down what ESPN's experts had to say about Seattle's lineup here. The biggest strength, they say, is the interior defensive line. This comes from Mike Clay of ESPN. The Seahawks remain stacked up front with Leonard Williams leading the way. Williams is still playing at a superstar level at age 31. He led all interior linemen with 11 sacks and ranked fourth with 35 pass rush wins last season. Jarran Reed, 4.5 sacks in 2024, and Jonathan Hankins are back. Byron Murphy II, a 2024 first-round pick, is a candidate for a second-year leap after a solid rookie showing. And credit where credit's due to John Schneider and company. If you remember not too long ago, the defensive line was a weakness for Seattle, and they have quickly turned this into a strength for this team, and in particular, their ability to stop the run, which was a big issue for this team for quite some time. They've done some really good work to improve that group. And Byron Murphy, I know the statistics weren't earth-shattering last year, but we saw how much of a fall-off there was when he wasn't out there. When Jonathan Hankins played, I think that we're going to see a big year from Byron Murphy. The biggest weakness, according to ESPN's Mike Clay, is the offensive line. Seattle's offensive line outlook is better than what it was a year ago, but this unit still has plenty of uncertainty outside of star left tackle Charles Cross. Left guard could be a solid if first-round rookie Grey Zabel works out, but the rest of the projected starting line, center Olu, right guard Bradford, right tackle Abraham Lucas posted shaky/poor PFF grades and run block win rates a year ago. None of them played a full season as a starter the past 2 seasons. All of that is true. I believe in Charles Cross. I think he's going to be fantastic. Grey Zabel, he's a rookie. There's going to be some growing pains. But I expect him to come along nicely and be an upgrade from Laken Tomlinson. Olu was pretty solid in the second half of the season, but we need to see more. Anthony Bradford, that right guard spot, him or Haynes, I hope one of the two emerges. And Abraham Lucas, when he's healthy, he's really good. But when is he healthy? That is a major question. Also, according to ESPN, the big X factor for 2025 is going to be wide receiver Cooper Kupp. This is from Seth Walder. As good as Jaxon Smith-Njigba is, the offense will need a second receiver for Sam Darnold, and Kupp is the best candidate. I'm skeptical he can fill that role. His 1,947-yard 2021 season looks like an outlier, but there's a chance. Seattle probably needs Kupp or someone else to step up and compete in a tough NFC West. That's true. But Kupp is not being asked to do what he was in Los Angeles and be that number 1 receiver. He's being asked to be the number 2 receiver. And at 31 years old, with his abilities that he's shown, he's already gelling with Sam Darnold. I think he can do that. Last thing from ESPN, non-starter to know, edge rusher DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, I think DeMarcus Lawrence is likely to be a starter, but they say otherwise. There aren't a lot of teams that have a player with 61.5 career sacks coming off the bench. Lawrence wants to prove he still has something in the tank at age 33. And his 3 sacks last season came in only 4 games before a Liz Frank foot injury cost him his 2024 season. He should be an important part of Seattle's pass rush. He should be. And Mike Macdonald's done a really good job with these older pass rushers, and I think he'll do the same with DeMarcus Lawrence here. So there you have it. That's ESPN's look at the Seahawks projected starting lineup. Appreciate you all joining us here on Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now for free, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.